so far that's the only date that no one's a definite no.
Try it.
Michelle, tell me what dates again you're on,
28,
October?
yep, through November 3rd. Could we get close to 5, or 5:15
On the 22nd?
on the 22nd?
Yeah.
What are we doing tomorrow?
And 16th.
I have to fly to a funeral in Seattle. But I could do early morning if you want to.
Oh, you're not here on the 22nd?
Well,
Next
I-
week? Okay.
That whole week is just, I'll be here if nothing catastrophic happens.
So 22nd is Monday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. What happened to Monday?
Monday the,
I can do this coming Monday, because I actually don't have to work this coming Monday.
That would be the
So can we
twentieth.
get this?
So you're just on call on the 20th, then the 22nd, right?
Yes,
And you could come if you didn't get called?
right, exactly.
Okay,
And pretty much every day that week is the
Yeah.
same. I can come if nothing happens.
I can't do Monday or Tuesday next week.
okay.
So should we do Wednesday at 5?
Oh, yeah, no, this coming Monday, no, we can't, no.
What about Wednesday at 5,
Yeah.
Michelle said? So
Absolutely.
the 22nd,
Mhm.
and Andy too?
Yeah,
Unless you get a call out?
Sure.
And can we do it here so that it's recorded, so that Andy could watch it if he got called out, and ask the planning board to meet somewhere else?
Do that.
Yeah.
No,
Or-
I wouldn't think that they
Yeah,
would be
'cause I
happy
was in
doing
work.
that.
No, they go, well, we could start here and see how far we get until 10:06,
Oh,
Okay,
right?
we're gonna start at 5.
I could start a little earlier that day, one of the meetings I could start at 4:30.
I could, I mean, the Conservation Commission's supposed to meet at 4, but you could probably switch that, nobody's like 7, like, you could definitely change that if it makes it easier for us to meet.
I don't think I can be here before 5 on that day.
Well, we could do 5 to 5:50, and if we needed more time, take a recorder with us for the other part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So 5.
Are there any highlights now, Sharon? What's up, or?
No, pretty much, a lot of it is staying the same. Anything that is increasing the description will tell why. Some of the items went over this year, I have accounted for that, either up or down the next budget. The budget is based on next year's usage, not on what we've used, what we used in fiscal year '25. We did have some contract increases, which accounts for some of the increases, like if you look on the, under contracted services, the annual SCADA software support, like those types of things increase. So we've accounted for the increases in prices. We no longer have to pay main rural water to do the billing. The interesting thing in the loan, at the loan line, we have, 3 that we no longer are going to have to pay, so that is going down, by a good $25,000, because we have 3 loans now that are gonna be paid off. So that's a good thing, and then we don't have to make a loan payment on the new one it's gonna be 12 months from the date we actually close, so we won't even see that in fiscal year '26.
So If I'm reading it correctly, anticipated revenue for 2026 is 807,000,
Yes,
and then anticipated expenses is 782,470.
This is my old one, I know here. So say that again, I'm sorry, Michelle.
The anticipated
Yes, I have 807 in there.
for revenue,
Yeah,
and then 782,470, spot 24 for expenses.
yes.
It's a good start.
Well, you will see too when you look at the sewer hookup for the SSDC, we've already taken in $47,000 in that fee. So that's one of the reasons that that revenue is a lot higher. The sewer billing, revenue, I just increased a little under $5,000. But I'm able to add the 47,000 that we've already taken in this fiscal year, so that's one of the reasons it's increased over to the 807,000.
Alright, so we need to check on that, because I think the SSDC accumulates and it can be used for capital items the following year. I have to look in the ordinance, I don't remember what it says,
Okay.
there's a specific use for it.
But in fiscal year 25, we only took in, I think, $2,825. And we've already taken in this fiscal year 26, 47,000. So if there's something that,
What
again,
about for the new construction, of the, condo building?
Yeah, that's in that 47,000.
that's part of, they paid 42,000 because they, the SSDC.
Why is that?
Are you referring to, not the Gary, you're referring to
No,
the
the one in town, yeah.
Yeah, that's just the,
Well, because it says Gary, and I get confused with that, I guess.
well, there's actually two, it's Bedrock is one, and, the Garing House is the other one. The Garing House is the 28, 25, that was in fiscal year 25.
Because that came in the spring.
Yeah, and then, Aroma Joe's and the Bedrock, that's their name, is part of the 47,000.
Only condos?
Yeah,
Okay.
How do we do this year? So this year, 2025. So for this year, this past year, that ended in June
we spent 651, 029.60.
versus income of 746,699.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments with just a quick look here? Alright. So that's Wednesday, 22nd, 5 p.m. here. And we'll play musical rooms if we have to. Okay, moving on. Warrants. 11A, action to approve accounts payable warrant 2026-21 in the amount of $789,203.44, and I'll move approval.
Second,
Questions?
so how did it change
I took out the water payments and the sewer payments out of this warrant, and they will be reissued in the next warrant, because they had to all be adjusted, not all of them, but several had to be adjusted.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Votes 4-1 opposition. It has the county payment in there,
Oh, so you oppose that? So it's 4
so 2-1.
to 1, okay.
So the motion passes 4-1. Thank you for including the payroll warrant in our table packet.
Okay.
And we move on to select board items. You all have any items?
I have one thing to follow up on the conversation we had a couple weeks ago about the easement. And I talked to Sharon briefly about it yesterday, but Dan Myers had reached out to me last week. It's his family that is requesting that easement. But he also brought to my attention something that his parents, basically, I might as well just tell the story so you're all aware. Probably 10-15 years ago, the town of Bethel moved, and Scott, you may have been around for some of this, I don't know, moved the pumping station on Vernon Street from the fields to the opposite side, that's the piece of property now that they're kind of looking to have that easement over. And at that time, they being his parents, did not want to sell the town the property, but Bob Gunderson, who was the superintendent at the time, and Jim Dorr, who was the town manager at the time, and Randy Autry, who was an employee of the sewer department at the time, were explaining that they wanted to move the pumping station to that side of the road, which was, again, taking a chunk out of their front lawn, basically. So eventually his parents agreed, and what I was told is that agreement consisted of the town paying them $7,000 for the piece of land, and in exchange, they would obviously sell them that chunk of land that the pumping station is currently on, and they would get, this being Dan's family, would get the little chunk that the pumping station used to be on, and that they would get, the town would bring them some fill, which I think the town pretty brings people fill anyways, that's for free usually, right, when you guys are ditching. So that's probably not a big deal. But what he's looking to have clarified, separate from the easement issue, is they've been maintaining that chunk of land, or so he said, he's been mowing it and stuff, treating it like it's theirs, but they've never received any actual paperwork stating that that piece of land that the pump station used to be on is now belonging to them. So I reached out to Randy Autry earlier today and talked to him about this, and he confirmed everything that Dan told me. He said, I was there, they had this agreement. Randy told me that there was something in writing, and that he had it on his sewer department computer. So I guess one of my thoughts is that it would probably be worth reaching out to Toby and see if they have a copy of this document anywhere. Basically, they're just looking to get the documentation that they actually do own this chunk of property. I did explain to him that about the easement, the same conversation we had, that right now that we don't have the authority to do that, but that would be something that they may have to address at town meeting, and he's aware of that, and they may seek alternative routes. They have a right-of-way coming down from Crescent Park that they may be able to use if they need to. It's just, it's just a longer run and so on. But what he would like us to look into is the property transfer, and to confirm if there is any documentation of that. They would like copies of that if it exists.
Are they being charged taxes on it?
This does not exist. This is the second one that Jim Dorr did that it was not followed up on. At town meeting last year,
Yep.
in June, there was an easement that was approved at town meeting last year because the documentation was not filed.
So like I said, Randy said there was something on their sewer department computer. It's probably not a deed or anything. I'm guessing we wouldn't be that lucky. But I think it's something we should probably look into and.
You know, this sounds just like the situation that was voted on at town meeting already. This doesn't sound like the same situation that the girl that sent me the email that had asked Courtney about this, her name was Jessica Myers, Jessica
Okay.
Brown,
Stoner.
yeah.
Yeah,
And Dan is is the father. So the story that you're explaining is, I believe, the same situation that we had to have a warrant article on the June town meeting to approve this. So if that is the same one, then that's already been approved,
Okay, so what was approved on that?
the easement, because and it had to do with that pump station, just exactly what you said. There was nothing filed at the registry, there was no documentation here at the town that any of that existed. So the attorney was contacted with all of the information, and that's why the warrant article was on the June, town meeting in 2025.
So that would, in a sense, rectify their,
If it's the same situation as what she's just asking to do now, yes.
it would rectify that there's
The
the
easement.
approval, but we would have to still file paperwork, right?
well, he's also trying to get clarification on the ownership of that little piece of land across the street that used to be the substation.
And I think
not.
that is what was clarified in that article in
Okay.
June, is that is theirs now. But there was nothing in writing before,
Okay,
which is why we had to have that article in June.
No, but then wouldn't new paperwork need to be filed for that, or like a deed or something, or a?
Whatever
Have to pull out the,
Whatever had to be done to transfer that property over was taken care of by that article in June. It's my understanding that what they're just asking for now for an easement, the easement that they need now is to go over
right,
the pump station is separate from what you're talking about.
yes.
yes,
Yeah, and he recognizes that they're two separate, in a sense, they're
But
separate
that-
issues that were tied to the same origin.
Okay, so what you're talking about, that was taken care of in June.
Okay.
But
Is
they-
there paperwork that we
Yeah.
have now that we can,
They would get,
you know, should I send him in here to,
Well, yes, he can come in and talk to Courtney about that.
okay,
That's why that was done in June, because that same story was brought to us way back before town meeting. And everything was checked and there was nothing to confirm that ever took place. So I'd have to pull the article, and we'll have to look at the article to see how it's written, because I can't remember. But that particular situation, I believe, is separate from the easement that they're looking at now to do.
yes,
yes.
yeah.
Okay,
So I think that's where we start, is with that article, because we may have provided the approvals for it to happen, but we may have to provide some sort of transfer or ownership
right.
piece.
Do you remember which article it was?
do you have it?
Yeah.
To see if the town will vote to approve the release of an abandoned sewer easement across certain property located on Vernon Street, known as map 25, lot 198, owned by Dan Myers, and the conveyance of certain town property on Vernon Street, known as map 25, lot 201A, and formerly used for a pumping station to Dan Myers in exchange for the town's prior purchase of a portion of lot 198 for the construction of a new pumping station. So that right there is taking care of,
The piece of property across the
Yes.
street.
and he should have known this because I believe that Courtney
Yep,
let him know that that was on there, so that would address this.
maybe he doesn't communicate with his wife, I
Okay.
don't know. Not sure.
Well,
no, but it's-
but that just, yeah.
But it doesn't mean that
Right,
the
it says to
documentation-
release the easement, and it
Right,
says to do
because-
this, but
right.
have we done that?
This right here,
Yeah,
Have we like
executed
actually
that.
like given them?
I'm gonna say that yes, that this was taken care of after town meeting.
So did we tell the town attorney to give a release to the,
I'll check with Courtney
Yeah.
to see if that happened.
because I would think that they would get the documents,
Right.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what he's saying, is they don't have any documentation right now.
documents
Okay,
to prove that.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
the townspeople said, sure, all right, do it, but now they don't have anything
so
in hand.
that piece will be done and over with.
Okay,
And-
that's good.
Because wouldn't they get a tax?
I would think they'd be getting taxed on it, tax bills and stuff too.
Well, if we didn't file any
Well,
paperwork, they might not be.
No, well, they wouldn't get a tax bill on it because this happened after April 1st. So it wouldn't become effective until next year. See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Okay. So that piece wouldn't even happen until taxes next year. But I don't believe this is the same, what they're asking for now is a different easement.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yeah,
So yes,
it brought up old wounds,
Right.
Yeah,
is what it did, so we
and
just need to make sure. we have the
that whole
documentation.
story was brought to Courtney way back before town meeting, which is why we went to the lawyer and this is what she advised to have done. In fact, she's the one that drafted that article, the lawyer did.
Yeah, so we just need the paperwork from them,
Yes.
so,
Okay.
and then I would think it would get distributed to Dan.
So I'll find out where the
Yeah.
follow-up
Yeah.
on
And then the
that
tax
article
maps should
was.
show it, I think.
Yes, and that, he did mention that the tax map is not showing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
And
was-
it wouldn't right now anyway,
Okay.
because
They
when
won't
it was
show it.
supposed to have been done back when Jim Dore was here, it wasn't done. So,
right, and there was no paperwork to instruct it to be done. We had the approval, but no paperwork to
Right.
instruct it, so,
there might have been a handshake, but nothing was followed
Yeah.
through.
okay, all right.
That was the only thing I
You
had.
got it?
Okay.
All right, got it, all right. We figured that one out. Any more?
I have one. Sharon gave me a tour of the offices, and we also went up to the hall upstairs, which is a really incredible space. And I think that there's a lot of conversations we had about the space use in this building. I did find that this building is on the National Register of Historic Places, which does make it eligible for some both state and federal grants for all sorts of different projects. So that would be something that I'd be interested in looking into. And so maybe on a future select board agenda, we can talk about plans for the space, the old citizen space. Because it's a really promising space, a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if we're looking for, I don't know, other revenue to bring in, I don't know if we would charge people, but like, people are desperate for conference meeting spaces, so I don't know if it's fair to charge people, but maybe it could be $10 or something a meeting, and then also people are looking for, like a co-work kind of space, like where they can drop in and use internet. I get those requests through the theater, like, at least twice a week. So there's such especially in the summertime and ski season. But I mean, if we wanna think of ways, there's some other thought I had of a way to bring in revenue, but it's thought I lost it. But I would, it seems like that could, even if we don't break through the wall right away, maybe we could start bringing some extra revenue in,
It
especially
sounds-
for heating it.
I mean, we'll be coming in budget season, so we talk about capital items maybe in January. And then that could be part of the conversation, because we have had some thoughts about punching through the wall and stuff, because we need space here too.
Yeah, right.
I think the town's paid $1,000 to rent out the leaching hall for
Right,
voting. I mean,
right,
the
right.
town does need the space
Right.
also.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure you will. Okay, we'll put that on there. I almost forgot about this. I talked to Sharon to see if we can have this on next meeting's board meeting. Is one of the actions again at the town meeting was to reduce the budget committee members from 12 to 9. So this is just a resolution of how to get there. So this is just a draft, and I'll send you an electronic copy. It actually works out pretty well, because it's 3, 3, and 3, and this year there's a vacant, expiring this year is a vacant position, and expiring next year was a vacant position, and then for 27, there was, one of the members is working out of state. So this is draft, and I'll send the electronic copy to Sharon for action next time, so you have it for your committees. And then, maybe for next meeting, we can have an ORC update on the agenda, just to see what's being worked on. New members on this board can hear what's happening, and make sure we're all aligned on the work to be done.
And for
And
that meeting, I think, any suggestions or any issues that this board has should
Yep.
come out.
right, yep, that would be fair, and see what you're working on to see if those are still current issues amongst us. Yep, very good. I did have one concern, complaint come forward, just something to keep an eye on for next year when we do this work, and John, he came to me and complained that we're giving one less week paid taxes this year, and I didn't think we were, because we try to focus on November 1st and May 1st, and so the last couple of years, we've set the date as close to those dates, but being on a midweek, right, so they can come to the office. So I did go to look, so this year, this October, the first installment's due October 24th, but there is another week to October 31st. So he was right, and just to keep on the radar for next year when we set the dates, to look at them.
Did we set the dates?
Yeah, we set the dates. And
So I think you set the dates based on my recommendation, that's why those dates are there.
Yeah,
And in setting the tax dates, one thing that has to be looked at is, that's all part of the 18-month process, is when the taxes are committed, then when they're due, and then making sure that then you go to the lien process and foreclosure, so that none of those dates fall on a weekend or holiday, because if it does, then it extends to the next working day, and actually that messes everything up, so.
I know he got, they're focused on that November 1st and the May 1st, and they get that, we're trying to go to the next closest weekday. So the next closest weekday from November 1st would have been October 31st. which would have been a week later than October 24th. Just something to keep an eye out when we've gotten them trained that that's when, or it's around the time when their taxes are due.
And who's
Um,
John?
John Carter,
And who's he?
he owns property out in Nevada.
Okay.
Carter's Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian's brother-in-law.
Say again?
I was telling Sharon, she knows the
I
connection.
know Ian.
Yeah, so it was just a concern that he had, that's all. So I said, you know, I'll bring it forward and, share it with you all, just to be conscious of it when we do the dates next year. I attended the MMA convention last week, Wednesday and Thursday. That was very good. Attended some breakouts, I learned some things, talked to some of the vendors that we have, learned some things, and I won't take the time now, maybe periodically in the future, to share some of those items. And I did have a question for Scott. All of our capital projects, like the paving and everything, are they coming to a completion before winter, or how?
Paving is complete. We have a drainage project still online, and we have the transfer station. All other items have been,
We good? That's great.
they just finished Swan Hill. The end of, which finished the paving plan for this year. End of October. End of September, they finished that.
All right, very good.
Last week when, at the bottom of Mill Hill, they dug a huge, right on the corner, like, the whole corner was dug up, like, you know, that was?
Wasn't DOT replacing the culvert there?
There was a culvert further down the road, but this was the day before that, but it was like right on the corner of, where?
On the golf course side of the,
No, the
No.
Gould side. It's like completely dug, like, huge hole, maybe it was
was
a
there
mistake.
water line repair?
Yeah, I don't know.
Potentially, I'm not,
Okay.
I saw the machine sitting there, yes,
Yeah,
and
it's still
I
sitting
saw
there,
they'd seen
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but, yeah, that one could have been I think the water line runs right through there,
Okay.
so that could have been a water line repair job there.
Anybody else have anything else for select board items? All right, hearing none, we're gonna continue forward. We do have an executive session, this evening. They have a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion that we go into executive session.
A second.
Can you say that, do it again and say the pursuant section?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll make a motion that we go into executive session. Where is that? Oh, okay. For 1 MRS section 4056A to discuss the manager's employment agreement.
Thank you. Second.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor? And the motion passes unanimous, and we go into executive session at 8:22.
And we can just stay right here and Tracy will just close that door.
Thank you.